In 2016, one of the most remarkable and thrilling stories unfolded in Alaska, USA, where a man named Jonathan Pollard, 43 years old, miraculously survived a ferocious attack by a massive grizzly bear in the Alaskan wilderness. Jonathan was a successful entrepreneur who often sought refuge from the hustle and bustle of daily life by immersing himself in nature. On this particular day, he decided to spend some time exploring the dense forests of Alaska, which had always been a source of inspiration for him. He dressed in his heavy cold-weather gear, packed his hunting tools and navigation equipment, and set off on an adventurous expedition through the thick forest. The journey began peacefully and enjoyably. As Jonathan walked among the towering trees, he relished the sounds of nature and the cool breeze. He had planned this trip for a long time, knowing it would be a rare opportunity to escape the stresses of everyday life. However, after hours of walking, things began to take a dramatic turn. While crossing a rocky and grassy area, Jonathan heard a strange sound coming from a distance. At first, the sound was faint, but it grew louder as time passed. Jonathan stopped to listen carefully, trying to determine its source, but he couldn't pinpoint it. Nevertheless, he decided to continue walking, hoping that the noise was merely wind or a small animal posing no threat. After a short while, an unexpected sight appeared before him. A massive grizzly bear stood on its hind legs, staring at him with fierce eyes. There was no doubt that this bear weighed approximately 500 kilograms, a colossal size capable of striking fear into anyone's heart. The bear moved slowly and deliberately, making Jonathan realize that this wasn't just a passing animal. It seemed to be watching him and preparing for an impending attack. Jonathan attempted to back away quietly, but he quickly understood that the bear had already perceived him as a threat, and an attack was inevitable. Without warning, the bear leaped toward him with incredible speed. Jonathan had no time to think or react. The bear was far too fast. It grabbed him with its powerful claws, and its sharp teeth and claws began tearing through his clothes and injuring his body. Jonathan suffered severe wounds on his face and arms, and blood gushed from his injuries. The pain was excruciating, but he refused to give up. In that critical moment, Jonathan remembered advice he had read once. If a grizzly bear attacks you, play dead. He decided to take this risky option. He collapsed onto the ground, closed his eyes tightly, and remained completely still, making no sound whatsoever. The bear continued jumping on him and striking him with its claws for several minutes, but it eventually stopped when it sensed no resistance. After what felt like an eternity of fear and panic, Jonathan confirmed that the bear had finally left. However, he knew he wasn't out of danger yet. His body was covered in blood, and the pain was intense. Despite his dire condition, Jonathan did not lose hope. He began walking through the rugged forest, even though his physical state was deteriorating rapidly. He knew the path to safety was long and arduous, but he held on to his determination. He walked for several hours, battling hunger, thirst, and the freezing cold. During these hours, Jonathan questioned whether he would survive or not. Every step he took required immense effort, but he persisted. Finally, he reached an area near a public road where he was discovered by a group of local hunters. They were shocked by his condition. His body was drenched in blood, and his injuries were evident. They immediately transported him to the hospital, where he underwent a lengthy surgical procedure to repair his severe wounds. Despite the gravity of his injuries, Jonathan miraculously survived. Jonathan fully recovered from his injuries, but he never risked going on such expeditions alone again.